And no matter if it's going to be too wet or too dry, Greg, I guess it really comes down to our topic here, nitrogen management and how it all fits together.
Yeah, Mark, it's interesting. Most farmers don't realize that wet conditions, dry conditions, you can have nitrogen loss in both of those kind of growing systems. In dry conditions, when you're surface applying urea, what happens is as that urea begins to break down on the soil surface, it splits into 2 molecules of ammonia. And when that happens, if it hasn't been washed into the soil by rain, it can be lost to the atmosphere. Maybe as much as 30% can be lost that way. In wet conditions, the nitrogen loss is different. So it's nitrate leaching, which everybody is familiar with, and then a term we call denitrification, which is just the conversion of nitrate back into nitrogen gas. So losses can be bad on both situations. In dry conditions, surface applications, AGROTAIN nitrogen stabilizer is what you should use. Wet conditions, either AGROTAIN Plus if you're using UAN or Super U if you want a dry product.
And what he just described, Martin, you're from Illinois. It's a long state, north to south here, and you saw both sides of that issue.
Oh, well, we had wet in southern Illinois, dry in central Illinois, wet in northern Illinois, and streaks of wet across Iowa and Wisconsin. So my entire territory had just every
like a zebra.
Every version of weather that there is out there. And, and our technology really helped the farmers. We like to say that wet or dry, we're helping the guy out, with the weather conditions, with managing that nitrogen that he's using.
Very good. And since we've been discussing the state of Illinois here, it's a good time to perhaps revisit, we promised our viewers we would do this, our research by Dr. Fred Below from the University of Illinois. Monday night show, we also showed a short clip from Dr. Fred from the university discussing weather, nitrogen, the interactions. Tonight, we want to take a look back. This is past November. Dr. Below gave us an overview of his fascinating research. If you haven't seen this before, it's the 7 wonders of the corn yield world. We'll take a look here. Dr. Fred Below.
Here you can see an example of where the nitrogen wasn't lost by weather. In this case, it was prevented from loss with an application of Super U. Notice the plant's decidedly larger, greener, better yet, there's a larger ear on each of these plants. So now, by preventing that loss of nitrogen from too much rainfall, we actually can realize the benefit of that nitrogen application in a higher yield. So we're looking at a pretty well developed ear here. Notice we got 18 kernels around, good fill all the way out to the tip. This is a plant that had plenty of nitrogen during this critical period.
And welcome back to RFD-TV Live with AGROTAIN. That was a short video clip from a documentary about the 7 wonders of the corn yield world. Dr. Fred Below, our guest in studio tonight to join us, along with Adam Henninger and from the University of Illinois and Dr. Greg Schwab, Director of Agronomy with Koch Agronomic Services. Dr. Below, viewers can see your entire presentation there, a website that we're going to put up here, 7wondersofcorn.com, and give us a great overview, and I want you to kind of walk us through this whole the 7 wonders. Maybe people are watching for the first time, but let's get an overview of the research project itself.
So the viewers that look at the website, they can actually see some of the research plots that we look at, and in the video we talk about how we ultimately use the 7 wonders as part of a high yield package, which I'll try to allude to here as well. And I think we have a slide that shows each of the individual 7 wonders.
So here they are, the viewers.
And this is what this represents is our top 7 list of those factors that each year can have a positive, and the sad news is sometimes negative, impact on crop yield. And we discovered that farmers know the things that they need to do each year, but they don't know the value of each factor. And so if you're going to grow high yields, you need to know the factors that have the biggest impact on crop yield and get those correct each year. And so this 7 wonders list really represents a career's worth of research where we realize that all of our research designed for high yields ultimately fit into one of these 7 factors. And these are the things that that we have listed on the slide, the so-called 7 wonders of the corn yield world.
Right. So let's take them one at a time and walk through. Some of them we can control. Obviously, the first one we can't.
Well, the first one you can't completely, and that's the weather. You control around that through crop management, and one of the main management factors that you need is nitrogen. That's number 2 on the list. High hybrids number 3 and becoming more and more important with biotechnology. If you grow corn the year before, there's a yield penalty, so previous crop is number 4. Number 5 is plant population. Every grower knows that has gone up in recent years, and it's only going higher. And number 6 is tillage. Getting the tillage right for a given field is worth yield. And the number 5 is our catch-all that we call growth regulators. And these are compounds that regulate growth in a positive manner. And each year, these 7 factors go together to determine the final yield. And if each of the value is optimized, then yields in the 260 range can be produced. And if one of them is not optimized, we're going to grow less than that. We sure got a lesson about that this year.